Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining us from today. We are very excited to have you on this I Am Cameroon Town Hall meeting. It's the first town hall meeting we're having. We look forward to a very, very interactive session as always. We're really, really excited to have you here. We're going to tell you a little bit about what I Am Cameroon does. We're going to hear from our different panelists on how we can keep Cameroon clean, on how we can unify our efforts and make Cameroon a better country, make our communities better, make our lives and future generations better. We're going to kick off our show today with, first of all, guys, I did not even introduce myself. So my name is Mamwa Jeme, and I'll be facilitating this town hall today. We look forward to a lot of people giving us ideas on how we can make Cameroon better, on how we can make our individual communities, our households better. Let's start off by learning a little bit about what I Am Cameroon does.
It is said that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. With a vision for every Cameroonian to take ownership of the future of Cameroon, we embarked on a mission to inspire, educate, and engage Cameroonians to accept and assume responsibility for the development of the nation. As the world was plagued with the COVID-19 pandemic, we came together to play our part as Cameroonians in the diaspora to raise funds, to procure personal protective equipment to protect the lives of Cameroonians. Raising nearly $50,000, we provided gloves, masks, and gowns to hospitals from Buea to Ngaoundéré, Bamenda to Douala, Kumba to Yaoundé. We built a partnership with the Japanese company Saraya to provide hand sanitizers valued at $250,000, and it's still being distributed across the country in partnership with the Cameroon Baptist Convention Health Services and several other partners. We inspired the diaspora, and we saved and continue to save lives in Cameroon. Then we realized that there was more help needed in Cameroon post-COVID world. We embarked on staying engaged with Cameroon as we brought together and showcased the work of young people, bringing entrepreneurs from all walks and progressive sectors of life who, despite the odds, were doing their best to operate businesses in Cameroon. We shared their stories, connected them to resources, and inspired many more along the way. On our journey, we have no doubt touched hearts and transformed lives. But our journey is only beginning. We have learned so much on this journey, which has inspired our strategic plan and our goal to engage 5 million Cameroonians in the next 5 years. We will build a movement that we hope will accelerate the transformation of Cameroon, creating opportunities for our people to dream and attain their God-given potentials.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that narrative, Najla. That just puts into perspective what I Am Cameroon does. And at this point, I'm going to introduce the president of I Am Cameroon, Ari Obenson, to tell us about I Am Cameroon, the vision of I Am Cameroon for all Cameroonians.
Thank you very much, Mamwa, for that introduction. It's a pleasure for me to be here. And just to follow up on that introduction of what this movement is, what we've been up to in the last few years, it is all with a vision for all Cameroonians to take ownership and action for the future of the nation. That's the vision that we have. And the way that we do it is through the mission of the organization, which is to educate, inspire and engage Cameroonians to assume and accept responsibility for the future of the nation. That's why we do what we do. That's why we come out every other week to share, to inspire, to educate, and to engage Cameroonians to play their part, because nobody else will do it but us. One thing for sure, I mean, the essence of what we're talking about is actually captured in the proverb that we use today, is when spiders unite, they can tie down a lion. If we could come together, if we could bring all the skill sets and talents that we have acquired over the years and bring that to bear on the place that we all come from, the place that we love, Cameroon, we can make a difference in the lives of people in the market squares of Guzan and Kwakwa and Osing and Tombel and distant places across the country. People who are yearning for help. That's what we do. That's what we try to do. And today we're leveraging the strength of the wisdom of this spider's web as we embark on trying to achieve the big, hairy, audacious goal of our movement, which essentially is being able to mobilize 5 million Cameroonians to play their part in the transformation of Cameroon. And we're trying to do this by this big, audacious goal of 5 million strong people coming out in one day, 5 million strong, to clean up our country, Cameroon, to clean up our streets, our quartiers, our neighborhoods, our towns, our cities, our villages. If we could mobilize those people, it would make such a difference. The essence of this campaign is just captured in a short video that we're going to share with you. And then on the other side of the video, we're really going to talk about how we can make this happen, how you all can play a role in making this happen. So sit back, relax, and let's watch it. Short video. This is the story of prosperity, the story of a people rich in culture, talent, and health. This is your story. This is our story. But this story is only possible if we own it. Today, a fisherman will return home without a catch because our rivers and streams are polluted. A farmer will have low yield because the quality of the soils of his fields have been degraded by plastics. Every 2 minutes, a child dies of malaria because mosquitoes breed in standing water and bushes. Every day, we record deaths from preventable diseases like typhoid and cholera due to an unclean environment. Conflicts arise between neighbors in our communities due to mounting garbage heaps and boundary lines on our streets. No, this is not our story. It can be different. It takes one person with one simple action to spark a chain reaction, and the story will be different. It takes you and I deciding to become actors in the story of a healthy and prosperous nation. Like the little drops of water that when combined unleash the mighty force of the ocean, we can change the trajectory of our communities from garbage infested to hygienic for all. We can transform our cities and towns to the beauty and wonder of attractions. We can save lives of children, reduce deaths from preventable diseases, and increase agricultural production, and above all, preserve our planet for future generations. It begins with a massive cleanup, all in one day. It begins with a mighty, peaceful army winning the battle of refuse disposal, cleaning our streets and rivers, emptying the gutters and culverts, separating, recycling, and composting. All in one day, 5 million strong to clean up 237. We can do this. We do this for the fishermen, to save the lives of our children, to preserve the planet for the future. There's just so many things that we do this for, so many people that we do this for. It may not be for me, it may not be for each one of us here. We may not reap the benefits of what we will do today in our lifetime, but surely we would make a difference in the lives of people who need it. Those people are no different from you and I. They are not different. The children are not different from your children and my children. They deserve better. They deserve more. At this point, I'm going to turn this back to Mamua for us to begin this town hall and begin a conversation with you in the audience, because we want everybody to play their part in this conversation as we decide on the how we're going to make this happen. It's not a question of whether we will make this happen, it's how we're going to do it. It's not a question of whether this is possible or not possible. This is possible because we know this is what is needed, and we believe that it would make a tremendous difference. And so we're embarking on this journey. We're creating the opportunity for anyone who has an iota of belief in them to join us on this journey and take ownership of this project and play your part, bring your ideas to the table, reach out to your friends and neighbors, encourage them to be part of this movement. Everybody, this is one simple action that everybody can do. Everybody can play a part. You don't in this movement. We can build a 5 million strong army that will create opportunities for people in ways that we cannot imagine. So we challenge you to play your part. Make a call now to a friend who is not on this call to join us. Send a text message now to somebody, because this is a moment in history. We write it now, and you can play a part in writing that history. So make a call a friend, share the YouTube link that we have with going on so more people can join us, so we can begin to build this movement that's going to be transformational for so many. This is our time. This is your time. Play your part.
Thank you so much, Ari, for that. And let's talk about the power of unity. That is why I Am Cameroon is here. We're here to give every single Cameroonian a voice. We are powerless in disconnection. We have to understand how power works, and power is most effective concentrated. We need to come together. Every voice has to be heard for us to have the change that we seek. I say this all the time when I do host these shows, and I say, we are the generation we've been waiting for. Nobody is going to come and help us. We have to help ourselves and each other. And before we engage our speakers today, when I was doing research for this town hall today, I was thinking of opening the floor to every participant. Anybody who wishes to intervene, please raise your hand and we'll be able to call you up. We'll please plead with you to turn on your video if you do intervene, so we can have a direct interaction. We can see who is speaking and identify that person. And for those who are still skeptical about what I Am Cameroon is all about, we're trying to tell you that we're here to effect economic and social change in our communities, one person at a time. Let me see. Do we have Maimuna? Maimuna, are you on the call?
Let me check. Yes, Maimuna is here, which is
Maimuna runs a project in Cameroon called Let's Do It Cameroon. She's been doing some cleanup in Cameroon already. I would love to hear from Maimuna about the projects she has engaged in and how she thinks we can make this happen.
Thank you very much. Greetings to everyone from Cameroon.
Maimuna, we can
Yes.
we can barely hear you because your voice is glitchy. Try turning off your video and see if the bandwidth is better then. Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
Hello.
Yes, we
Yeah.
can hear you better now.
better.
The video is also thank you. So I'm saying that my name is Maimuna Ganjo from Cameroon, representing Let's Do It Cameroon, which is an international organization representing Let's Do It Well in Estonia, here in Cameroon. And our focus is on environmental protection and waste management. We've been in the field in Cameroon now for more than 6 years, and we've been trying to mobilize as many youth as possible to carry out, to engage in civil activities and, concentrate on plastic pollution and many other activities linked to environmental protection. It's my pleasure to join I Am Cameroon in the upcoming project of mobilizing 5 million people for a cleanup, which is one of the main objectives of Let's Do It World, which is mobilizing 5% of each country, of each Let's Do It country, to take part in the World Cleanup Day, which comes up once every year in September. I think that this project is kind of a reminder about the World Cleanup Day, and that we will want to do it more practical, not just in September, but something frequent and perhaps more engaging, I think so. And I'm happy to join this project, and I'm ready to put in as much energy required as needed. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Maimuna. So with regard to your organization, Let's Do It Cameroon, I can actually attest, and this is what we know about Cameroon, that the problem of waste management in Cameroon is actually left in the hands of the municipalities and the local government to take care of. How important do you think it is for everybody to take ownership in cleaning up their community?
Oh, maybe I just have to repeat my speech because a while ago, I just came back from the 20th May Boulevard, where we were, because we're having a cleanup today, and we've been all the march in the march past sectors. It was very funny that some youth were actually mocking at us when we were cleaning while they were marching. And we're doing this intentionally because we wanted the youth to see what it means by engaging in civil ethics activities and actually fighting the issue of waste in Cameroon. Your question is quite pertinent because if you look at Cameroon now, if you're not in Cameroon, we are in Cameroon. Cameroon now, it's messy. I'm telling you that if you take a taxi from Obili, you're going to town. I'm talking about Yaoundé, the capital city. It's messy. There are places you just have to close your eyes and say, "Oh God, allow me to pass." It's disgraceful, like seriously. And I'm very, very. My heart is heavy to say it, but it is the truth. So I was telling the media that when they look at the country, they look when they look around where they are standing, are they proud of their country? I remember we are so proud of Cameroon as a peaceful country, proud as a land of milk of our honey, proud. We can't be proud of Cameroon on the issue of waste. Everybody has centered the issue of waste again around Izakam. Izakam Baramase is a two, and it's demoralizing. It's like we can't longer sweep our houses because there's a certain Izakam who pass by and sweep the houses for us. So I don't know if it is that they are being brainwashed by the project of Izakam, or the project of Izakam is causing more harm than good to Cameroonians. But this is really something that we have to look at it in all angles. leaving dirt because there is a company that will come and pick up. I remember we have close to 5 recycling companies now. If all these 5 recycling companies who treat waste as their first material, like the raw material, and they can't do this job, then it means that it's actually speaking. It's speaking what Heidi always say, embodying unity. It's everybody's fight. You have to fight it from your own corner. You just can't wait for ISACAM, wait for the government, wait for the mayor, wait for whoever. You have to do it yourself. So we engaging youth in this project is just the secret. It's just telling them, reminding them of a duty that they owe to the nation. They owe themselves before the nation even. So that's just my thought and my take. Today is just, your question just touched the object of today, seriously. Thank you.
That is quite interesting, Maimuna, that we're talking about, we're still looking at cleaning up after ourselves as something that is shameful, which is kind of it's kind of funny, because I wonder the kind of homes we keep. If we cannot clean our own immediate environment, how much do we think that we can clean other environments where we live in? As you said, there is dirt littered everywhere in Cameroon. Nobody takes ownership because we think that it's the government that's responsible for it. So that is why we are trying to embark on this project with Let's Do It Cameroon, and every Cameroonian. We're hoping, we are a country of 23 million people and growing. We have a lot of people migrating from rural areas to urban areas and producing more waste. We're looking for everybody to take ownership for the dirt they produce. We use the 3 R's. We use reduce the dirt that you produce, recycle the dirt that you produce, and try to rehabilitate the dirt. Now we have different places where ISACAM, we have landfills or landfills where ISACAM deposits dirt. Are you aware of any landfills in Cameroon where dirt is deposited?
Yes, so I live in Douala, though I work in Yaoundé. We know of the landfill, ISACAM, around Génie Militaire there in Douala. The other day I was passing, it's actually my quarter because I'm in Dogbasi, so I pass there probably every day. And I was asking myself deeply, maybe I should ask it loudly now. Like, so what will happen after some years? This landfill thing, will this land be fertile? Will this land be useful? Probably those studying environmental sciences know that landfill is more a danger in the nearest future, and that it is not something that we have to encourage. Probably the government is attached to it right now because it's the easiest way to deal with this waste, but it's also an easy way to get the waste even worse in future, which I'm thinking that with the new circular economic ideas and the sustainable developmental ideas, the government can change the look. As you said, the 3 R's are more implementing. It's just easy for someone to say, I won't consume plastic. I won't drink water from Supermall. I won't just, so it's like a habit. And I was just talking with someone the other day, and I mentioned this issue of the first project that Let's Do It Cameroonians, we want to launch this year, which is coming ending of this February, is what they call mental cleanliness. We have been in the field for 6 good years, and it is either we are doing a repetition, or we are actually mad, as they call us, because you can't be cleaning an area, after 2 weeks you go back and clean, after 1 month you go back and clean. It's boring. That's the best word I can use. And the question now is, how do we just do away with this waste once and for all, and we don't have to come back to this particular place here and so on? So if we have to teach the people through this project, mental cleanliness, we need to make the people understand that there are options. There are actually many sustainable options. Biodegradable materials are available. And there are some companies now that have actually changed their way of consumption and production so that it can fit the environmental safety guide. And this can be copied. It's true that in developing countries, we are more affected by this waste issue, and we have lesser of solutions than the Western countries. But I think that everything is adaptive, and that the innovations that are already over there can still come here. How can it come here? Can come here when an individual, an indigenous, know that he is consuming plastic and that there are better ways that he could do without consuming that plastic. So the people don't even know. These people need to be taught. They need to be, they need their mind, surgery of the mind, how will I call it? Okay, that's hyperbole. They need their mind scrutinized and then some things fit inside, like, okay, I won't drink super more. As from today, I would drink water from my cup, better like the refuel. It's a good idea. The refute is a good idea. The refuse, the recycle, and all those R's link around waste management is the secret that people don't know. And they don't know that you can wear a dress, it's a trouser, tomorrow you recycle it to a skirt. Then we keep delaying the aspect of waste of littering while looking for more options, which is coming. From what I'm seeing, it's really coming, and it's helping. So I, for one, will conclude this question by saying that if we don't run away from this landfill thing, and that we think of it as a solution, or probably the only solution, then we are making a mistake, and that we are actually endangering this planet more than what we think. And the little pure land that we have that is making us fertile, and we know that this year Cameroon is not as fertile as it used to be, because if we don't know, then I should say it, because we had a seminar in Yaoundé 5, and these women were crying that their crops have not yielded because there are plastic. I have a farm, and I discovered that it did not yield well this year because there were a lot of pad that kept removed from the farm, plastics and so on. The yams are planted, nothing yielded. So if I'm affected by it, what more of the women who live on agriculture? The president was talking yesterday about engaging in agricultural sectors and so on, encouraging the youth to involve in agriculture. How would they do this if the lands are not fertile? So why are the lands not fertile?
Absolutely, Maimuna. Absolutely. I mean, you're making very pertinent points.
Yeah.
Thank you.
If you don't mind, I just wanted to join this conversation with reference to some of the things that Maimuna has brought up. And for the people that are listening and those who are here joining us on Zoom and those on YouTube, here we have a young Cameroonian that has engaged in playing her part for the last 6 years, working, mobilizing young people across the country, and really giving us a sense of the challenge that we face. Of all the things that she said, the primary solution, the main solution to the kind of outcome that we need is not government, it's not just the private sector or the businesses, it's each one of us, it's the individuals, it's the people who are consuming, the people who are dumping refuge. And to this conversation about the 3 R's, if we just reduce the waste, if we reduce the impact, stop drinking from plastic bags and plastic bottles and dumping them anywhere. If we recycle, so we separate our garbage where plastics can go in one direction, and then if we reuse, right, we will be making our own, each individual will be playing their own small part. And really, if when we talk about 5 million strong, I wish it was 28 million strong, right? Which everybody could play their part. Just start by playing your little part, right, Maimuna? If everybody did this, then you would not have to come back to the same quartier to clean up after 2 weeks, right? Because people should realize, and this is the essence of having this big, massive goal, because if you have to change behavior, if you have to change the minds of people, then you have to do something big, audacious. Every country in the world where garbage waste management is possible is because the people make it possible. The people select the containers that they are going to agree that they would put their recyclable garbage in one kind of container, and it will be picked up on a certain day. The people have to play a part. Absent of the people, we cannot succeed in this. This is why this notion of mobilizing millions of Cameroonians is really important, so that we can awaken the consciousness of our people.
Absolutely, Ari, absolutely. Now, we talked about the power of unity. We talked about how important it is for us to work together. I'm going to call on Mr. Stephen Jeme, to tell us about some lessons learned from the project he is carrying out in the village of Wondongo in Boya and how he's doing this. Stephen, are you there?
Stephen.
Hello.
Hello. Stephen, are you there?
I thought I heard his voice a minute ago.
Yep.
but
I heard somebody come in. Let's see. Okay. Stephen,
Can
are you
someone-
there? Okay, we'll come back to Stephen. At this juncture, we'd love to have interactions. If you wish to come and talk about how we can solve this problem of waste management, please raise your hand and I'll be able to pull you up for you to intervene during this town hall. So feel free to raise your hand if you want to come in. In the meantime, Stephen, if you're there and you can just jump in, that would be great. Okay, we have a hand raised. Blessing, comment Blessing. Blessing?
Oh,
Yes, hi, Blessing.
I wish to acknowledge what you all are talking about. It's quite sensitive and it's quite important. I lived in Limbe and I think so far, Limbe, Boya, those are one of the clean towns, even though we still have issues. But there's a lot we have to tackle. Talking about waste management is it's a whole lot. I would say, for starters, there was a time I visited Yaoundé, the capital city. Half of Mokolo was full of dirt. Why? The workers at Izakam were rioting because they had not been paid. So that's one aspect. And when people find that there's so much litter in a place, they begin to expand because nobody wants to go and step over dirt to go and be able to dump their refuse where they are supposed to. That's one thing. Then now we need to sensitize the public on how to separate these non-degradables from degradables. It's a whole lot. We need to educate people. We need to educate, especially the children, especially in schools. I also think that we can also, I don't know how it's going to be because the government has a huge part to play. When you don't pay the workers, they won't clean the dirt. And people be like, okay, if this place is already full, they create another heap. And then you just find that everywhere is smelling. It is not even healthy. There's heaps. You find heaps that's everywhere in our streets. It becomes terrible, and then that's where there's breeding ground for all the mosquitoes that you have. You go to the wards that are all full because people have malaria, people have typhoid, people have this and that. And talking about even recycled material, somebody talked about not being able to drink water from Supermore. I don't know how that is, but I instead think that we should be able to recycle these plastic containers. So there's a whole lot. I don't even know where I want to start from, but I must say this is admirable, and the topic itself is quite sensitive because truly, if we can't keep our environment clean, when you look at us, we should not dress well on the outside when our own private spaces look like a dump. So I would like to say that the government should be able to work on their staff, especially with those who are into cleaning. Like we have Izakam, they should be able to pay their workers on time. You pay them, they work well. That's what motivates Cameroonians, especially now with no jobs. And then we should be able to send health personnel or just people who can talk the importance of keeping our environments clean, the importance of they should also place waste bins at should I say sensitive points? I don't know if I should say it like a roundabout. Like there should be many of them so that people are trained to. Because I have a friend of mine. She can never drop a paper in her hand or in a taxi. She was in the taxi and then the guy was like, drop it through the window. She's like, no, when I get home, I'll put it in my trash. And I think that's somebody who from within Yes, from within, she already knows that this is it. So when I was talking to her, I was like, Mommy, I held I held a piece of paper in my hand and some money, and I ended up when I got home, I dropped the money and the paper because I forgot even that I had money in my hand. Why? Because I'm trying to not litter my environment. So we need to sensitize, to let people know the importance of these things. I think that's my 2 cents. I know I've spoken for long. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Blessing. That your intervention is very timely and great. Did somebody say something in the background?
I was just going to say, Blessing, you have an opportunity here to play your part. I urge you to join this movement and play your part, right? With your ideas, your energy, your mindset is what is needed for a different future for Cameroon. So play your part. If you want to share more of your detailed information, we'll be reaching out to you and asking for you to have a role in this movement. It's your movement.
Absolutely, Ari. I see Tabitakan's hand is up. TK, you want to come in?
Well, it's interesting because my intervention, hello, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. The points I was going to raise, the previous speaker just started raising. I've heard about education. I think it's a big thing that is really important. It so happens today's 11th February. So I guess engaging the youth as well will be very big in this. That is using the schools and getting the word to the schools to educate the kids, to change the mindset, to appreciate their environment so that we're not waiting on the government to solve our problems. It begins at home. And I was looking at the chat as well, and somebody just mentioned that it really starts at home, the school, educating the schools for this thing to be sustainable, to be a long-term and not just a one-off kind of issue that we're trying to resolve in September. So that would be my own goal. I listen to this, and my challenge is, what part can I play? I want to take the route of education at the school level to engage the kids to clean their environment. I'm in the Tukube Yaoundé, and in my environment, probably a 10-kilometer radius, we have about 15 schools. So that would be a prime place to probably have impact and emphasis for the schools to get together to probably motivate and clean that whole environment there, that whole neighborhood there, and figure out a way to work with any other partners that are willing to work with those schools to resolve these problems. So that's kind of my own little contribution as I listen to people talking here.
Which is a lot, TK. Thank you very much for that contribution, and thank you for playing a part in trying to keep Cameroon clean and the communities clean. I see Najala's hand is up. I see Lillian's hand is up. I'll come to you in just a minute. Let me just take Dr. Brenda Bell G. Dr. Brenda Bell G, are you there?
Yes, thank you for the opportunity. So this is a very sensitive topic, and it's a topic that personally I take it at heart. I started a nonprofit organization, and it's African Public Health Organization. And the goal is to help to educate our community. This organization is registered both in the US and in Cameroon. And I started working in CDC camps. Why? Because I'm a product of CDC. So in Moliwe, I bought several wheelbarrows, rainbow, rakes, everything, shuffle. And I gathered the youth around the community, and they go around because they have 2 different angles in the camp that they just go over and dump waste. CDC is not functioning. So what happens? Mosquitoes and malaria and typhoid is just going up. So they go around, they clean, all the young boys and girls, they clean. And my greatest concern is when we dump them, we have to burn them. So I don't know, we might be committing another hazard in the communities, but somebody has to do something. And whenever they come out to do this work, just a motivation, I also use it like a social medium for this youth to come up. With all the problem going on, you're thinking of trauma, you're thinking of social difficulties, people are not working. So I provide food, after cleaning, and I do educational talks. Has it been good? Really good. I do also in Tiko, Kumba, Boya, and Limbe, where I help mothers, single mothers, with little funds to educate their children. But inside this educational program, I still make sure that these parents who are involved in my program are also getting the message that if you live in an environment, it has to be clean. Because when you throw refuse around the house, your children get sick and you end up at the hospital. So I really like this, I don't know, inspiration or whoever came up with it, that we need to have a larger forum for us as Cameroonians to continue this work. Thank you very much. My sister-in-law Tabe, thank you for sending this to our forum, because that's how I got it and I hop on it. Thank you all.
Great. It looks like we have a technical issue. Well, Doctor, thank you so much for joining us. And you are no longer alone. We are in good company. We will work. We don't have all the answers for the challenges that you face or that we face. But this is why we are coming together, so that we listen to each other. We hear from your experiences, we share ideas, and we build something that is ours, that responds to the needs and expectations of our various communities. That's our goal with this campaign. And so we will stand with you as we continue to develop this program. I'm going to turn this on first to Lillian, and then to Najela. So Lillian, please come in. Lillian, yeah.
Thank you very much, Ari. All the interventions I've seen, either in the chat or oral, have been very interesting. At one moment, I saw about 49 persons in this Zoom meeting, and probably others online. I already used the word opportunity, and I think this is an opportunity for each and every one of us here and out of here to be a champion, to be a leader. Because when we talk about dirt in Cameroon, it's not just material dirt, it's not just physical dirt. And a lot of you have indicated that it's even moral dirt. So if we see ourselves as champions, it means each of us here is a leader, because each of us here is in a community, is in a job site. We work somewhere, we live somewhere. So if we are champions, are we willing to be that champion in our homes, at our job sites, in our communities, to lead this project? Which means, are you going to educate those people to pick up that trash, or not drop that trash, or transform that trash? If on a daily basis, we take these little things. I remember in primary school, we used to sing, small, small thing, pick and throw, big, big thing, pick and throw. On a daily basis, before we go to class, we do this pick and throw. If this becomes our motto, that we don't leave any sort of trash around us and engage the people around us, then we begin to make a difference in our country. Who is the government? The government are individuals. The government are us. The government are those who make those decisions. If you take that decision as an individual to lead only in that dirt transformation, unappointed, you assume that leadership, I think we are going to make a difference, either in transformation. I know there are a lot of people here who know people who transform waste, like transforming plastic papers into handbags, into jewelry, into table mats and whatever, transforming plastic corks into all sorts of things. So let's take that leadership role to teach our kids at home not to drop waste, to pick up waste, to teach our offices to separate waste, to teach our communities to separate waste. So my point here is all of us here from today should pick up that leadership and transform that waste management to pick up waste, not drop waste, and transform waste. Thank you.
Thank you, Lee. Me and my brother and sister, if I didn't have pay, I would toss in a even for one man country said that they kick me out of internet, so no, even worry. So my internet connection went off and just came back on. I apologize for that. I caught what Lillian was saying. Let's all take ownership to be the change that we seek. I'll go over to Najela. Najela, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you all so much. I am so inspired from the chat, from all of the speakers so far. And so there's one area that I really want us to think about. Lillian talked about transformation. We've talked about recycling, and then we've talked about reusing. And I think right now, as a scientist, the way things are across the globe is that people are focusing on recycling, then transforming, and then reusing. For a developing country like ours, we need to switch and be the pace setter to say we reuse, transform, and then we can start think of recycling. Why do I say that? All current publications have shown that only 9% of plastics are recycled. There are 10 different rivers in the world where plastics are quote unquote being recycled in. 2 of those rivers are in Africa. 8 of them are in Asia. You can check all of this. This is all scientifically written. So we should stop thinking of recycling. It's environmentally unsustainable. Cameroon should be the country that should teach the world that we reuse. I go to Cameroonian parties nowadays and we buy the most elegant plastic plates and cups. And if you see me at the end of every party I go to, I get a bag and I put all of those things in it because most people just throw their food into the trash and I clean up. If one thing we can take from this today is to go back and tell all our caterers that we can reuse rather than thinking that these things are recycled. I work for a chemical company called DuPont. We know that recycling does not occur anymore. There are 2 things we do. We incinerate waste and we reuse plastics. So the concept of Rothy and other companies, this is an opportunity for lots and lots of companies to start transforming and for us as individuals to reuse. Thank you.
Thank you, Najela. I just saw Stephen Jeme while you were talking. It looks like he got kicked out again. We're going to come back to Stephen because he's been doing some great work in Cameroon, and we have to learn. We have to have these lessons learned and good practices. We have to hear from people who are already doing, like Maimuna, people who are already doing the work there, to let us know how to go about it, to let us know, show us the way we can address this problem. I hear you, Najela, and we have a lot of education to do with regard to waste management, as you say. Mm-hmm. You're looking at it from the perspective of a scientist, a chemist. You know exactly what these plastic material is made of, and we also have to take into consideration the fact that we already have the waste now. We have to look for a way to be able to clean that up. And I've seen several projects in different countries in Africa where they use bottles to make boats. They use bottles to make Christmas trees. They use bottles for different purposes, or plastic bottles for different purposes. Maybe it's time we take up some of these projects in Cameroon as well. And I think there are a lot of recycling companies in Cameroon today who are trying to make use of especially plastic, which is not biodegradable. Let me see if Stephen is there. Stephen is not there. So I'm going to call on Ida. Ida, I see your hand is up.
Yes, thank you for calling on me. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
You guys are just so impressive about the work you're doing in Cameroon. My perspective is from systems organization, how systems work together. I'm a retired leader from a county here in the United States. And what I want to suggest is that partnership is key to accomplishing long-term goals in the area of organizing. And what I hear you guys talking about really speaks to education, health management, and resource management. The ministries that are engaging in philosophical thinking about these things need grassroots people to talk to them about the actual hands-on things. So most ministries don't really come out to the community and do the work. What they do is they actually do the policies around what they think needs to happen within the communities. So the community, like you guys are projecting the work that you're doing and the hands-on work that you have experienced needs to go to them in partnering how to connect the two, how to connect their philosophical thinking and the physical work that's being done. That's how you're going to get funding. So I would like you guys to have like a think tank on what ministries need to be engaged in this conversation, how you need to present this to them, that you actually have a roadmap for how this could happen within the communities and how they could engage it in the philosophical write-ups of policies so that it will end up giving funding to the communities that you're working with. So that's where I come. That's where my brain, that's how my brain thinks.
Absolutely, Ida. Thank you so much for that information. You just nailed what we keep talking about. We say we are powerless in disconnection. We have to connect to be able to build an empire. You know, we have to, it's like a snowflake, right? It's like a little snowflake. One snowflake does not impact the weather, or it does not impact anything, but an avalanche will take down anything that's in its path. It is all of us building that avalanche, every snowflake falling and becoming that big avalanche that we're going to create to impact the change. And as you said, people, as Lillian said, people make up the government. You and I are the people who make up the government and the country. We have to be the change we seek. We can impact policies if we all unite and stand together and force the different policy makers to make the change that we seek. That is what I Am Cameroon is all about. We're here to inspire, engage, and make Cameroonians take ownership of our destiny. Build a better generation build a better future for generations to come, and impact our own individual lives as we go forward. Do I see any other hand up? I don't see any other hand up. Oh, I see
one from Jacob.
Yeah, I see Jacob for food. Jacob, comment. Jacob?
There is Eto Anza, Honorable Eto Anza, if Jacob is not there.
Okay, so let's go to Honorable Eto Anza. Jacob will come back to you.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Honorable Eto Anza.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to confirm that I am on board and everybody is getting me. I am Honorable Eto Anza. The Honorable there is a connotation for youth parliamentarian. I am a community development enthusiast, and that's what actually got me into the youth parliament, because I got so involved about the aspect of waste and every stuff that is affecting our community directly. And I should say the waste, this problem, this waste management issue is one that if it's not handled carefully, like very soon, it's going to cause devastating, it's going to have devastating consequences in the long run, especially in the case of Bamenda. I wish to share my screen. I wish to share something so you can at least get a picture of what we, when we talk about waste management or waste in the Northwest region, where we are, every street around the Northwest, every street around the Northwest is littered with dirt. And one thing we need to do, we need to engage the population to actually be a part of sorting and reducing the waste. When I talk about engaging the population, years back, taken down to 2012 in the Northwest region in Bamenda, the city council used to have what we call cleanup campaigns. And when we had cleanup campaigns, Bamenda 2 times in a row was the cleanest city in Cameroon. Immediately, the crisis came up. The aspect of cleanup campaigns every Thursdays was stripped off, and Bamenda is now the dirtiest city in Cameroon. One thing I want us to actually just get from this is just that immediately you get to be engaged in what concerns them, there is this 30%, I can put it at 30% of the workload that is going to be taken care of. Every Thursdays, according to the cleanup campaigns, people got up, they cleaned the gutters around them, they managed the waste, decomposable waste was used for in their farms and so on. But now everything is taken to the street. Everything is taken to the street. If we can create this moral, this civic consciousness in the persons around us, then we are sure that the workload is going to be lighter. Getting to talk about plastics as a community development actor, I have engaged in the somehow recycling of plastics in the Northwest region. We've been able to make pavement bricks from plastics, pavement bricks that is used in building, and it is 10 times hard and better off to the one that is made with cement. We melt all plastics in a barrel, we mix it up with sand, and we just do it the same way as the way the normal pavement bricks with cement is being done, and it works out. But now you can't get into money doing something when it actually does not leave your hands. You don't get persons that you want to convince to use these pavement bricks instead of cement. So we need to do a lot of sensitization. So many persons need to know that at the level of your house, you can do this. There is a way out for us. And we've tested biogas. We've tested biogas with decomposable waste, tested and proven that we can use what is known as waste to actually generate income for us. And so many other stuff, flower jars, small decors in schools, and it works out. But now we need more actors. I am very, very happy that I got on this call with more persons who want to engage in the management of waste in the Northwest region. And I want to say it starts with you. If you still get up every day in the morning and you don't sweep around, you don't clean around, you don't get waste and put in a farm for it to decompose and become manure, you send your child out to go and dump waste somewhere, and you come to a video or a Zoom call and you come and advocate. This is some sort of hypocrisy that is going on in the Northwest, even with the city councils, even with the municipal authorities and so on. Most of them come to the front line to say this, but they can't practice it. But if we can practice just 5% of this aspect of waste management, we are going to see that we are going to have a very, very clean city. And if Bamenda does it and is successful, other regions will copy. I guess I'll come back again to say something. I want to put up some data to share with you where we are at the level of waste management and waste decomposing in the Northwest region. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Eto Anza. These are the people, we're talking to a parliamentarian here who is actually concerned about this problem. So we see that there is concern on how this can be managed and how it can be handled. I'll just bounce to Ari for a minute. Ari, you take it. You're on mute.
I really wanted to come in to commend the Honorable Eto Anza for that taking. I mean, we talk about this as if it's distant from the people, but here's somebody on the ground that's actually addressing the challenge. Here's what I'm going to say to you: you're not alone. It's really important that you see this as an opportunity for us to build and this adds to Ida's point, build systems that will sustain this movement. It would take collaboration of the people, citizens, the private sector, and eventually government for this to happen. You know, governments develop policies, but policies never make change. Actually, it's change in behavior that makes policies work. Policies alone will never change behavior. So you have to change behavior and then adopt policies, then those policies will work. In most cases, we do the opposite. We suddenly declare that we're no longer going to use plastic bags, but we never change the behavior. And so there is a policy, there is a law in Cameroon that we will not use plastic bags, but actually everybody is using plastic bags. So you change behavior first, then you develop policy, and then policy will work. This is our moment. This is our opportunity to the Honorable Eto Enzas of the world. We need to come together. Divided in small groups, we will not be able to do this. If we can unite all these forces, we can really be transformational. That's our goal. This is our opportunity. This is the moment. And yes, we will want you to come back. We will want you to prepare for our next session. We'll give you the opportunity to share data and statistics of what's happening in Bamenda. We will build on that. We have 8 months ahead of us to put in place a strategy, a plan, partners, so that when we embark on this one-day campaign, it's not only just a symbolic one day, it's a one-day campaign that will unveil a strategy for the future, that would unveil how we manage waste across the country, Cameroon. This will be transformational. And this is our moment. This is our time.
It is our moment. It is our time, Ari. Indeed, it is our moment. It is our time. We will do that which is necessary to have that change happen. I see that Stephen and his team are back. Stephen Jeme, we're going to call on you now to tell us about some commendable practices. You have been. He just disappeared again. Oh no, he's back. Okay, so Stephen and his team, they're playing games on me right now. Stephen and his team are going to tell us how they've embarked on the cleanup campaign of their community, and it's been very successful. Let's hear about some good practices from Stephen and his team. Stephen, you come on.
I think all of you. It's nice being part of the meeting. I'm the president of the World Cultural and Development Association, WOCODECAS. I think we've been waiting for a while now, trying to help the village in cleaning. It's a nice thing. I'm here with my team, the Secretary General, the Foreign Relations Officer. I think they will a little bit highlight on our activities in the village as concerning the cleaning up of the community, and we are extending it right down to class and the other neighboring villages. I think we've started preparing already. So I want to present to you Mr. Suman Mafani, who is my Secretary General, so he can give a little bit of highlights of the activities of the cleaning of the village. That will help also.
Hey,
thank you, Stephen.
To all. Yes, my name is Suman Mafani Joseph. I'm the Secretary General for WOCODECAS. So as our president has earlier said, we are actually engaged in thorough and proper cleaning of our community, of our village, Wandongo. And we do not only limit ourselves to Wandongo, but we also cross to the neighboring villages, like to show them the example. And that's so kind, it has been copied by others. like Bonarionga, they also have, they've actually formed also a similar, something like we have. We have Wonya Mongo, we have Mukunda that have also copied what we started. And, you know, with that, we are sure of like having something very good in no time, because if we have these villages go around with this cleaning activity as we do, then we are sure to have a very, very clean environment in no time. So with Wondongo, we have like Mondays. Mondays are our cleaning day. Every Monday we gather as early as 6:30, 7 a.m. latest. We embark, you know, for the cleaning. We clean gutters, we go around the village, clean the gutters, we clean in front of houses, we clean the streets, we sweep, we gather, we burn, you know, and we try to we don't only limit ourselves to cleaning, but we try to sensitize, you know, the people, the importance of having a clean environment. You know, so when we move, like for example, to the stores, we get to the owners and we sensitize them on the importance of having a clean environment. And then so far it's been okay. They are following, you know, they are trying also to put in place what we teach them. And I'm sure if we continue in this way, you know, I'm sure we will succeed in the mission we've actually embarked on. I think the PR will also have something to say on this same.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Secretary General. Thank you very much. Thank you. Welcome, Mr.
Hello.
PR.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be on this same panel. I just want to say that NEPODECA, which is our association, Wondongo Cultural and Development Association, was born for a very strong reason that has been highlighted here, that we have to make the community livable, we have to make it sustainable, we have to make sure our people are healthy. So we came up with some few strategies to do that on the pattern across. We want to subsidize food because we know that if people are not healthy, the community will not grow stronger. Beside our cleaning activities that we are carrying out, we want to make sure that our children copy what we are doing and continue to do that. So in that light, we decided to come up with a project to educate our children on IT. We want to make them IT savvy. We want to teach them how to do agriculture beside the normal cleaning that we do every Monday. And we also want to make sure that we link them with other institutions I call them money-making sectors, because we have to be sustainable. We have to know how to make money. So we want to make each and every child in Wondongo an entrepreneur. Beside their normal education, they must indulge themselves into business where they make money and live a healthy life. That notwithstanding, we also have a partnership with the council, because we know that without the council, we can't go far, we can't do better. We are co-opting the council to learn in our vision of together we stand, divided we fall. Now we network with other nearby communities to ripple our effect, let our effect really ripple and go across. For instance, during the rainy season, as some people may know, Boya becomes very wet and very moist and very muddy in areas where are not well developed. So we say that all the gutters should be cleaned and cleared before the heavy rains begin, such that we don't have overflow. We know what overflow causes in our town. So we help the council to do that. And we are going further to make sure that the little roads that used to exist, we canalize them better, such that the movement of water does not cause damage. Because we cannot do without the rainy season. We must do with it because it's natural. So in that, we identify each and every member of our community to be a registered member in NEPODECA, because we live in the same community. We have also coopted strangers or visitors to be part of this community, because some people usually say
they are not from here, so they are not part of it. Because they live here, they are part of it. We want to light up our street. We want to make sure that people move freely in the night. And then the best, and then the least that we have to do, we are curbing on drugs. We want to make sure that our community is drug-free. So we have a campaign that we are running now for children not to indulge themselves in drugs. And we have handed that to the police and the securities alert to know that we are not involved in drugs, because we want our children to go to school, we want them to be reasonable and make money as early as they can, so we can keep the community lively. Lastly, I'll end by saying that we are coming up with our anniversary launching of activities, because we want to make it formal. Because this association is registered with the government, and we want to invite the administration to come and see exactly what we're doing. So on that day, we have to showcase culture. We have to showcase living together, which is a national song now. We must live together because we have strangers in our community. So we have to bring the cultures together. And it's going to solve a problem of cross culture. When you bring your culture, I bring my culture, we put together and see where we are going to. And
Absolutely.
lastly, we have to do culinary. And in culinary, we'll end the event by saying that, oh, I tasted some nice dish, which is achu from the Northwest, while somebody from the North say, oh, I ate pagokwa and banga, so hey, it tastes good. So we bring that together and we form a lively and livable community. So thank you very much. If there's anything, we'll say it again.
Thank you, Wandekans, and for those on the call, these are my brothers and sisters. So this is my brothers. This is my village. Just permit me to thank them in my language. Wanyamwe nalingi rai ne wole megbeya. Ole jainene. So I just said.
Yes. Yeah. Let me add by saying, they say a good community lives by discipline. I'm a disciplinarian, and that's how I grew up. I think upon this because I worked in the military before I left. So the issue of drugs and community, I think, is out totally. I've pushed it out. One, I made some kind of commitments by not taking people to the police, because it's so much of research. We handed that we take them to the police receives, or the gendarmes receive money, and they leave the boys back into the street without any education. So we take it on ourselves to bring them closer to us, educate them, give them work to do. Okay, now this very sensitive point I'm trying to do. We are trying to, in the months ahead, we will try to bring out this issue of the document or a small booklet that will give to those who don't have work in the village to go around in different homes, ask for work. You just need to negotiate with the person you're going to work with. You raise the amount on the booklet, and we have a task force that will go around, collect their money and give them. I think that will help them.
So in other words, Stephen, so in other words, you guys are also creating jobs, right? You're creating jobs by actually cleaning the community. So that's what you're saying. So it's something that is multi-pronged, right? It covers different areas. Not only are you cleaning the communities, but you're giving certificates to those who are doing the work to be able to get more work and get some recognition for that. Thank you so much, my brothers. It's been such a pleasure having you here. I see all the great work that you do, and keep it up. We're going to be getting in touch with you as we gear up towards September for this massive campaign that we're working on. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. We keep on the job. We are satisfied with all of us.
Absolutely.
Absolutely,
Stephen. Absolutely. So do I see any other hands up? Is there anybody else who wants to intervene? Okay. Ari, you wanted to come in?
Well, let me just say, laudable initiative by our people in Buea. These are groups that we're going to lean on. So when we started this conversation, we spoke to Maimuna, who is with Let's Do It Cameroon as part of Let's Do It World, that is embarking on an initiative which we've done for several years now, World Cleanup Day. And now they've gotten to the point where they're educating people almost on educating and mobilizing people on a daily basis. So we're looking to collaborate with that infrastructure that Maimuna has already built with her team. We're going to be bringing all these other groups that we're having conversations with today to be part of that core group that will be leading this initiative. But I also would encourage you to bring more. As you can see this conversation going, this is more than just picking up trash. This is much more than a garbage heap. This is really thinking about the future of young people in Cameroon. This is thinking about how the impact that this may have in our communities, and how the failure of the taking action can actually have dire consequences on the lives of people in our communities. And so we must act. I see that we have Ndive Lamanga's hand up. Mamwa, if we can.
Sure. So Ndive Lamanga, the floor is yours.
Thank you so very much. I want to thank everyone for the very explicit information that we've all gotten today. I want to thank the moderators for a good job. And I also want to thank Dr. Phil Najeme for hooking me up. I just want to first confess, I'm hosting Bakore meeting today, so I'm making Kwakoko. I won't be that long here. So I am an occupational health, safety, and environmental professional. I protect people for living in the United States. And I will be going back home in about less than 2 weeks. I'll be meeting with the King of Limbe. I am one of his notables. And I think I have seen an opportunity. Should I say window or a door, or a garage door to say it simple?
Garage door.
A garage door, because it's very big. I realize that we have quarter heads in Limbe. These quarter heads are leaders in their localities. What are they doing? We can have them do something. If you go to places, some places in Limbe, you're going to see a lot of garbage. Yes, they do have quarter heads. I'll be having a one-on-one conversation with the king as his advisor. I believe he will listen to me, because this is a very good initiative. Say, ask not what your country has done for you, but what you have done for your country. I didn't say that. The former president, JFK, said that, and we all know about it. So we've listened to each other. We have very brilliant ideas. What do we plan to start doing from now henceforth? A garage door has opened for me. I'll go down, have some comments, discussion with the king, and I believe I'll have some answers, because we're going to put these quarter heads to work. Let them clean their quarters, because these quarter heads, they can oversee those inhabitants in their localities. Tell them, if you want to trash in the trash can, not on the floor. The SACAM can only do that much. The government can only do that much. We have to do something. Like you all say, it is our time. I just want to take my break at this time. But thank you guys so much for a wonderful job you're doing. I will be giving feedback. Phil Najeme, thank you so much. I'm making Kwakoko come to the meeting today. We are hosting meeting today. I'm also for the records, I'm the president of the FACO people in Houston, Texas. I'm the president of the Victoria Indigenous Development Association. We are transforming Limbe in a big way. So this is a good stuff. It's a good topic. And again, as an occupational safety professional, I think this one really affects me a lot. We all have something to say. We all have an idea. Let's put it into practice. Life is good.
Life is good, Sango Ndive Lamanga. We will be contacting you, that's for sure. I wish you could send me some Kwakoko by FedEx, but it's like, get SAB. But I'll be sitting here drooling, thinking of your Kwakoko. But thank you so much for that intervention. We will be in contact. We'll be in contact with you. That's for sure. We need to extend this to every community, every single person, every single household has to hear about cleanliness and hear about keeping our communities clean. We had the great intervention from Maimuna. We had the great intervention from Stephen, from Ida, from Blessing, from Sango Divelamanga. We look forward to more interactive conversations. We are going to be having another show in 2 weeks, and we'll be focusing it on getting 5 million people to clean up our communities. We are very motivated with your engagement today. We need more participation. Come join us. Let's do this together. There is power in unity. There is power in all of us taking responsibility in making our communities the communities that we want. We have a little poll here, which we're just going to ask you to take. It's only 3 questions. Please just take this poll and let us know what you think about what we're doing on I Am Cameroon and how you think we should go forward. The poll is just 3 short questions. So I'm going to read out the questions. First question, do you think this ambitious goal is possible? Yes, unsure, no. Question number 2, will you commit to playing a part in this campaign? Absolutely yes. Unsure? Absolutely no. Question number 3. Will you recommend other people to join this campaign? Yes. Unsure or no? And the last question, I said there were 3, but there are 4. The last question is, will you join the next session of I Am Cameroon in 2 weeks? So we'll leave this up for a few more seconds.
Yeah, so far we have 17 out of 33 attendees that have voted so far. So please just take a moment and let's get your feedback. Let's get your voice. This is the beginning of the movement. Get your voice. You know, the old saying, you want to be counted in the number. You know, when the time comes. So let's begin to build those numbers. And it begins with you sharing your voice on this campaign. And we just want to get a snapshot of what the feeling is about this big idea and whether we should be inspired when we wake up tomorrow by the people who say, yes, this is possible, or people who say, I don't know about this, or people who say no. But so far, it is looking good that out of 24 people that have voted, we have 22 of them saying, yes, this is absolutely possible. And of course, we have people who are really unsure of how we're going to make this happen. Mm-hmm. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. We have about 96% of you so far that have voted are committing to be part of this movement. Another 96% says you're going to recommend people to join this campaign. So next week, we're going to be more than 100 of us in 2 weeks when we do the next call, because you're going to bring along people that you believe should be part of this movement. And then and you, about 92% of you, 23 of you have committed to be on the next call. So this is in your hands. It's in our hands to make the difference. So there you go. Those are the results for everybody to see. Of the 25 of you that took part in it, 23 of you say yes, you're committing to be. You think this goal is possible. You're committing. 96% says you're committing to being part of this campaign. Another 96% says you are recommending for people. You will recommend people to join the campaign, and 92% of you say you're going to be here next for the next session. Amazing. We can do this.
We can do this, and we will do this, people. We will do this, but we can only do it if we are together. Let's not fall off the bandwagon. Let us stick together and get this done once and for all. So the date we're looking for, the tentative date for the campaign, for the cleanup day, is 23 September 2023. So we have time to build up to that. We have time to get all the knowledge and information that we need. I see Honorable Etoanza, you want to come in for 1 minute, you say?
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Okay, I just wanted to add briefly that I didn't introduce myself as a community mobilizer and as the president of the Cameroon National Youth Council for Bamenda 2, the Central Bureau. So I am, when I just joined the call, I saw a question about which government agencies or which agencies can we partner with for this event. I want to say you can always count on the support of the Cameroon National Youth Council, especially the bureau I lead for Bamenda 2. Anytime we need volunteers that need to go on ground, we are going to get them. I'm offering myself, in fact, anytime it seems that we need to mobilize persons for this cause, any day, anytime, I am ready. And you can count on the support of the Cameroon National Youth Council any day, anytime. I am as well going to facilitate, especially in my locality, the negotiations between the municipal councils, the city councils, and the government anytime it pops up. I am ready. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Etoanza. And Gwendy's Cleaning Services, we look forward to partnering with you, and we look forward to engaging you, Honorable Etoanza, and your organization, and how we can make this happen. Gwendy's Cleaning Services says they're going to take part as well. We're going to contact you, Gwendy's, and we're going to do this together. It's going to take place in every town, every school, every church, every street in Cameroon on the 23rd of September. And I'm going to call on our own powerful closer. When I say that he already knows who he is, I'm going to call on our own powerful closer, who's none other than Mr. or Dr. Phil Najame, to give us a closing after this great discussions that we had today.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Momoa. Thank you, Aray. But most especially, thank you to our audience. It is possible. It is possible that we can get Cameroon to be the cleanest nation in the world. It is possible. I know some folks might have doubts, but listening to this conversation today, I'm so empowered. I was already empowered, but listening to you guys, a great idea, a great suggestion, and we have a couple of weeks to go. I know it's possible. And everybody, I want to remind you that this is not just an I am Cameroon idea, or we're going to do it just our way. No, we're partnering with everybody. If you have a great idea with how we can do this, join us. If you know somebody who can do this, who's done this, like the Maimunas, right, like Honorable Eto, and all the other great folks who've spoken today, please join us. This is going to be history in the making, because Cameroon must change. We will transform all that story of yesterday. By the time we kick off this program, everybody will look back and say, oh my goodness, wow, they were right. It was possible. So my brothers and sisters who sit on the sideline and you're waiting, I really like to take you back to 1910 when Theodore Roosevelt said, it's not the critic who counts, right? Not the man who points out how the strong man stumbled or where the doer of the deed, could have done better. We all come back from Cameroon and we say how dirty it is. Oh my goodness, Limbe, Douala, Yaoundé. Now I want to challenge you where you see it. The moment you make that statement, the very next second, ask yourself this. There is this powerful campaign being put together by my own brothers and sisters. Am I part of it? How would you change that narrative? How would you become the man in the arena? Instead of criticizing what it is, but joining with the people who believe it's possible to act that change. We are watching, we're seeing you. We are open. Join us. Let's stop the narrative of how bad it is and it's not possible. Rwanda did it. Go to Nairobi. Nice and clean. They don't have plastics. But they started from somewhere. Guys, it's not about the mile. just making the mile that counts. It's every step we take that gets us to the mile that matters. Today, I call on every Cameroonian who hears my voice, who believes that the trash situation in Cameroon is bad. Join us. We started the first step today. We'll continue every day until our big campaign, where all of us, 5 million strong, will join hands and start that cleaning. It's not too late, because guess what? When we have the fire behind, like the ones we have, where different associations, different groups, different individuals with different mindsets coming together, we're bound to make it happen. So please, Cameroon is home. We come here, we're in the US, we're comfortable, you're in UK, wherever you may be. But there's no place like home. Charity begins at home. Charity begins at home. You cannot be the best when at your own home, you're not. We recycle things, we put trash in trash bags, but when we go back, how is our home? Can I say that same story of what it is here in Houston? That can be in Cameroon. That same knowledge, that same discipline, that same systems, those same structures, we can impact back home. You know, the awareness is now. The time is now. The mind change has to happen. And we, please join us and be part of that history, that together collaborated and make it happen. I don't want to hear others have failed. That's good. But join a group that has a proven record of success. When COVID happened, we delivered. In every instance, we made it happen. So at this point, guys, we're very honored. I'm very elated to know that you will be part of the 5 million strong in making this happen. Thank you, everybody. I'll turn this back over to Mamwa, and I look forward to having this conversation with you all going forward.
Thank you, Phil. We can do it. We will do it. Just before I wrap up, if I say my final words, I just want to thank Maimuna. Maimuna, just give us your closing words before you go. Thank you so much. Is Maimuna there? It looks like Maimuna dropped, but we're very grateful that we had her on the show today. We look forward to having you again on this same platform in 2 weeks, where we'll be continuing this discussion about the 5 million strong for Cameroon. As Phil said, while Phil was talking, I was making some notes, and he said, let me just go back to our proverb of the day, the Ethiopian proverb we had in the beginning. No, and I'll say, no lion was ever tied down by bickering and constrained spiders. The solution rests in the hands of united men. And on that note, I'm going to bid you adieu. I hope to see you in 2 weeks. We look forward to engaging with all of those who have shown interest and those who will show interest. And it's going to be a lot of us. We are going to show interest. Let us change our trajectory through our actions. Let us be committed to making our lives better and the lives of future generations better. It's been great having you here on this Saturday. I know we all have busy lives. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the day. We will see you here on Zoom again in 2 weeks, where we'll continue this discussion and have interference and listen to all the ideas that we can bounce on each other back and forth to make constructive decisions on how we can make our communities better. Thank you, everyone, and see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.